Hey, how's your day? I don't know if I'm interrupting what you say. I've got to know if I've been MIA. I can make it up to you right now. What you say, you should know. I see my life when time after time. I feel like when I'm with you, everything stops for a moment, but only for a moment. So I could take this time to enjoy my view. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see more life when I'm with you. Don't be frowning, baby. You know I love you time and time again. Yeah. I've been trying lately, but I'm not perfect. I've been searching, then you gave me to my life. So I'm done making my mind up now, cause you've been spinning my head around. I only want you, baby, that's the truth, cause I see time after time. I feel like when everything stops for a moment, but only for a moment. So I can take this time to enjoy my view. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see more life when I'm with you.
팬티에서 금방 나와. 근데 완전 단단하고 괜찮아. 맞아. 페인트라이너. 이것도 정말 마음에 든다. 털기가 쫀득해. 바람 녹였다 먹어. 이시요.